Hey, beloveds, I'm back again. So, this particular one, for you all, this is your first time coming on. Welcome to my channel. My name is ShrettaNCLegal. As you see my title, Plaintiff's Interrogatories to Defendant. This is talking about an ongoing court case that I've had that's been ongoing in my life ever since August of 2018. And I'm just talking about it because I want to get it out there. I want my voice to be heard. I want the ABA, the American Bar Association, to get this information, to get behind, to be to get in front of what the 325th Judicial Court system has been doing all these years. And I say all these years because just me, never been in trouble, and they taking me through all of this, committing aggravated perjury against me, um, creating falsities, manipulating paperwork, and so forth and so on. If they did me like that, and I don't have this record of me being a troublemaker or being in trouble with CPS or any thing dealing with my child or my children, then that lets me know that this is a practice that's been ongoing for quite some time. And it seems as if, to them, it seems as if they're mastered it, but they have not, because I am a parent that likes to know why I have to succumb to this or why that, and why, I ask questions, I read, and so that's what I'm doing right now. So anyways, let me get on to, this is a part 2 of the first one, order for seizures and compelling discovery. This is a part 2 to that, because I will talk about the plaintiff's interrogatories to defendant that the petition attorney want me to submit to her that was not filed. This document wasn't even filed with the court either. So you can find this on my Instagram page. Like I said before in my other messages, I will put all these particular documents on my page. It's just some very crazy things that this attorney's office put in here, like I'm a criminal. But it says the defendant must answer the interrogatories in attachment 1 separately, fully in writing and under oath within 30 days after service of these interrogatories. These interrogatories were sent to me, I believe, like I said, October the 5th. But I'm not going to read y'all all of this, but what really appalls me is the instructions that it gives. It said instructions. This is on page 3 of 7 pages. Number 1, unless instructed otherwise in an interrogatory, when you are asked to identify a person, provide the following information for that person. It tells me I need to provide the person's full name, the person's telephone number, the person's current address, the person's place of employment and job position. Why do they need to know that? I'm going to tell y'all why they asked for that. And they put that in place of something else, because it's different. They copied and pasted some of this, because when I printed out on my computer, it gave me the correct font. So once again, A through E, the person's full name, that's A. B, the person's telephone number. C, the person's current address. D, the person's place of employment and job position. E, if the person is a minor, provide the person's age and identify the minor's parent. Okay, so what I know this is, I'm going to tell y'all what that is. The reason why they want all of that, because they want to harass. If I put anybody on here that will be connected with this case, they wanted me to provide all of that because they want to harass the people, or they want to pay them off to say this and this and that. Why do you need to know their place of employment? What do that have to do with this, a child custody suit? Place of employment and job description. Why is that important? That's not important. That has nothing to do with a child custody case. What is the reason for you, or how do that relate to them testifying, being, them testifying against, or being the person that would testify against Mr. Aguilar, to know their employer, the place of employment and job position? And if it's a minor child, identify the minor's parents. So what you're going to do, you're going to interrogate them. You're going to go do a thorough investigation on these people. Let me tell you what, Mr. Aguilar, when I moved here, I moved with a friend, the only person I knew here in the state of South Carolina. He let me and my son move with him, just being gracious and being just being gracious and nice to us. He let us move with him. And I plan on staying there 3 months, but just coming from Texas, having a business, coming here, you got to build your clientele, which when I moved here, I did start working in a salon right after I moved here. I was in a salon. Actually, before I even came here, I was talking to the person about it. But so when I moved into my own place, I notified Mr. Aguilar, I will be moving here. This is my address. If you want to send any documentation to me, wait till I move, and this is my address. I didn't give Mr. Aguilar, when I moved, I didn't give him that address because Mr. Aguilar have called the police on me twice. One time in 2017 when I was coming from a religious gathering, a meeting in Atlanta that I was a volunteer at, and then when he called the police on me in 2008, the August of 2018, I talked about in my other thing and trying to get a police these fake documents. So I didn't give him that address where I was staying at because that wasn't my address. There was somebody else that was gracious to let me stay there, so I didn't want him to call the police there saying that she kidnapped the child, and I literally didn't. And I feel like even with this case, because my son is not going back, they do have like these illegal fake, because with the Attorney General, as of the 28th, December 28th, with the Attorney General, I have physical custody of our son. The case have not been modified. Now, my son been away from me for a year. The case have not been modified. What they was trying to do was hold me not coming to the knowledge of it, was hold him from me so they could say, well, he's been with the father for 2 years and, still play this game of him and I being married, so they can have custody at that point. So, but we're not playing that game. And if they call the police on me with a fake custody order that has not been modified with the Attorney General or with the state, and I go to jail, that's another lawsuit. That's another thing that the Tarrant County will have to deal with. And the judges do these things, these underhanded things, do these bribes, take these bribes because they have immunity. You cannot sue the judges. If you could sue the judges, they would not be doing all the things that they do. So let me continue to move forward. So that was number one. Number two, unless instructed otherwise in an interrogatory, when you are asked to identify an entity, provide the following information for the entity: all names by which the entity is known, the main telephone number for the entity, the address of the main office, as well as the address for any other facilities owned or operated by the entity which are related to this case. Unless instructed otherwise in an interrogatory, when you are asked to identify the document, that was number two. Number three, unless instructed otherwise in an interrogatory, when you are asked to identify a document, provide the following information for the document: a short description of the document, any caption or heading in the document, the present location of the document, the date of the document, the current custodian of the document. When you are asked, and that was three, when you are asked to identify a document, that you may attach a copy of such document in lien of providing answers which are easily determined from looking at the attached copies. It's a time scope. Unless there is a contrary instruction in specific interrogatory, all requested items or information are limited to the time period beginning on March 1st, 2019 and ending date. Responses are served on plaintiff. March 1st, 2019. They want all information concerning March 1st, 2019. You know why? March 1st, 2019. But you can't tell me March 1st, 2019 when this suit was filed against me August of 2018. So I'm just moving to the state of South Carolina. The suit was filed on me saying that I was an unfit parent when I was in the state of Texas. I just had moved to the state of South Carolina. I had been here 2 weeks when this was filed, I believe. So me not knowing though that it was filed with the court. I had been here 2 weeks. So you telling me to the time period beginning August 1st, 2019, you can't ask me about my business since I've been living here when Mr. Aguilar filed a whole court case on me when I was in Texas of August of 2018 prior. You will want the prior years. Why would he say what caused him to be in fear of his son being with me prior to him filing the court documents, not after? After has nothing to do with him saying he's in fear of his son being with me. They don't make sense. So if he filed court documents saying I'm in fear of my son being with her, and it's August of 2018, August the 8th, then, okay, prior to you filing this, why did you say that? What happened? Not after. Okay? So, so that makes no sense, but March 1st, 2019 was strategically placed. On August the 9th, 2018, the police was called on me by petitioner with documents his attorney, one of Ali Crocker Associates, gave him. So that's why they don't want nothing before 2019. March 1st of 2019, they don't want me to give them nothing. They said March 1st. They don't want nothing prior to that because they want to know all my business here. And you'll see as I go forth and telling you, reading you the interrogatories, the actual questions. Now, Mr. Aguilar having sent me these questions, Judge Judith Wells signed for him, the district judge. Now, if you sending me to send you interrogatories, you should have been sent me your interrogatories. They want my interrogatories first, so they can um, manipulate their paperwork to come up with what they're gonna do. No, you filed this case against me. Why your interrogatories have not been sent to me? Why do I need to send them to you when you filed this case? See, you should already, if I file a case against somebody, I should already have my discovery with the court. It should already been it should already been given to the other party. You know. So, anyways, plaintiff's interrogatories to defendant. Look at this. There is nothing. The answers, you see the answer? There is no answers. It says plaintiff's interrogatories to defendant. I am the defendant. Where is the answers at? You see that? There's no answers. So, us having an appointment, a Zoom meeting with the district judge, Judith Wells, like I said, I'm not going to bar none. No judge. You was not in the, when I conceived my son, Judge Judith Wells was not in the bedroom. Neither was she in the hospital room when I delivered him. Neither did she have, I didn't even know who she was. So she don't have no authority, and I will say this publicly. Judith Wells, with the 325th Judicial Court, has no authority over me and my son, has no right to, she can do what she want to do, but has no right to order, to establish a judgment when you know you are not following law. You creating your own right. You creating your own law, and I would not go for it. My original court order told me to protect my child, and that's what I'm doing. By all means necessary. This is not attacking nobody's character, but I have been greatly they have tried to torment me on a great level. And it makes no sense. So anyways, plaintiff's interrogatory to defendant. There is no answer, but identify each person or entity who assisted you in any way in answering these interrogatories, including but not limited to those who supplied information and those with whom you consulted regarding the content of the answers. There was no answer. Identify all lawsuits to which you have been a party within the previous 5 years by providing the case number, county where filed, parties, and final determination or current status of the lawsuit. There was no answer, which there has not been no lawsuit that I know on his end. When it comes to interrogatory 1, identify the persons who had helped assisted him with this case, his attorneys. Interrogatory 3, for me, this is what they want me to answer. For any conviction you have ever had for a felony or crime, moral turpitude, provide the crime, the date of location of the arrest, the date of location of your conviction. Interrogatory 4, identify any person you intend to attempt to impeach through evidence of a criminal conviction as provided in Rule 609, Texas Rule of Evidence. For each such person, provide the court in which such conviction occurred, the date of the conviction, and the crime for which the person was convicted. But they wanted me to answer all of this, and they said attempt to impeach. The judges that have handled this case, the lawyers that have handled this case, all lawyers, all associates of the lawyers, all associates to the judges that have handled this case do not need to be in their position. Now, that's my opinion, but God sees all. He knows all. He knows what we need to do. And we got to forgive. I do forgive everybody that have taking me through all of this. But we all have to go through judgment because of what we do. Like if I kill somebody, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? And I have to go through the punishment of what I've done, which is being sentenced to prison and whatever else that the verdict is because of what I've done, right? Interrogatory 5, identify every person you do not expect to call to testify, but whom has knowledge of relevant facts, and provide a brief statement of which such person's connection with this case. That's another that's a question that try to get people tied up, because if you identify a person, which you're not calling them to testify, but if you identify a person that has relevant facts, then you got to list these people names. They want you to list their telephone number. They want you to list their address, where they work, all this. So this question is linked to whatever else they asking for. They want to torment whomever, which with this case, I don't have to call no witness, because my witness is all the documents I have. That's my witness. The laws that have not been upheld, that's my witness. I'm not putting nobody in this case to be tormented like I have, to be harassed like I have, to go through the harassment. I'm not. It's unnecessary. Interrogatory 6, identify each person you expect to call to testify at trial, is excluding expert witnesses. Interrogatory 7, for every expert who will testify in this case, y'all got to listen to this number 7. For every expert who will testify in this case, and every consulting expert whose mental impressions or opinions have been reviewed by a testifying expert, provide the following information: the expert's name, address, telephone number. That's not a bad thing. The subject matter on which the testifying expert would testify, the facts known by the expert that relate to or form the basis of the expert's mental impressions and opinions formed or made in connection with the case, regardless of when and how the factual information was acquired. The expert's mental impressions and opinions formed or made in connection with this case, and any methods used to derive them. Any known bias of the expert, okay? Identify any documents, tangible things, reports, models, or data compilations that has been provided to, reviewed by, or prepared by or for the expert in anticipation of the expert's testimony. And they said the expert's current resume and bibliography or something like that. Like, you want their resume for what? Like, I've seen court cases where the expert witness get up there and say, well, I've been in this particular field, I've been a counselor for so many years, and I've dealt with so many people, so in my expert opinion, so maybe that's why they said that. Okay, interrogatory 8, identify all residential addresses since January the 1st, 2016. January the 1st, 2016. But then you asked me, that's a contradiction, because you asked me to give you all requested items or information are limited to the time period between on March 1st, 2019 and ending on the date responses are served on plaintiff. But then in interrogatory 8, you said identify all resident addresses since January 1st, 2016. Matter of fact, how about I identify all of them from the time I moved by myself at the age of 17. For you all that don't know, and I will put this out there because my son's father will get this information. He knows it to be true. I moved out of my mother's house when I was 17 years old. 7 days after my 17th birthday, I had my daughter, Kayla. I moved out of my mama's house when Kayla was about 3 years old. Me and my sister got an apartment together in this low-income apartment. But we had an apartment together. We had a 3-bedroom apartment, regardless of how much money we we paid or whatever. I still had my own place. We still had furniture. We still was, had our own place. I was still in school. At the age of 19, I got my own place. After that, staying with that sister, I moved with my other sister because that sister that I moved with at first got married. So I moved with another sister that stayed in the same apartment complex. And at the age of 19, I got my own apartment and kept my own apartment. 2015, I got my own apartment, kept my own apartment. It seemed like every 4 years I moved. I would live in an apartment, then I moved after the 4th year because it just seemed like I needed to move. Like I would literally stay there 4 years, then I would move. I was staying in an apartment from 2011 to 2015 of September. I moved out of that apartment complex. For you all that have listened to another video when I was talking about Four Seasons Lane, I was staying in Everman, Texas. That's when my life started to shift. That's when so many things started to come against me. That's when I really, really got back into my biblical studies, really just pursuing God. My life started to shift. So I started just being my kids and I started going through things with people in apartments, and this apartment office, the management was just, the management at this complex was going through a transitional phase. They kept getting people, they fired people, they kept getting people like in and out. Every month you see somebody different. So finally corporate came down, and I had put my 6-week notice in, and corporate came down, and this lady, she was just furious, enraged, and I went through some things with her, and I decided to move out of that apartment. So I turned the keys in September the 23rd, 2015. I moved with the boyfriend at the time. I had a boyfriend, and he's deceased right now. And for you all that know me at that time and the boyfriend I'm talking about, y'all know who it is. I moved with him. When me and him, I moved with him September, and it was a temporary thing because I was in a process of looking. Since I had to move out in a hurry, I didn't have time to find me another apartment because I was going to stay at Four Seasons Lane. But when me and the lady in the apartment had the altercation, I hurried up and moved out. So I stayed with this boyfriend. I decided to part ways with him in December of 2015. I decided to part ways. So in January, the beginning of 2016, January, I moved with my sister. My sister is married. She have children. She came to me and she said that she's not comfortable with another woman being in her household, and that was fine. So my kids have always went to And I'm not gonna say always, but at that time my kids was going to school. Kayla and Ramon was going to school by Roberto's mother house. I would drive them in the morning, pick them up in the evening. When Ramon would spend the night over Roberto's parents' house where Roberto stayed. Um, Sometimes even when I drive Kayla, he'll spend the night over there. But when I drive Kayla to, before I drop off at school, I would swing by and pick Ramon up, take him to school, then get them, or somebody get them, whatever. So for many years, all Kayla 4 years, she went to the school in Mansfield, and I drove her every day. So during that time, when I was going through that, of trying to find another apartment or whatever, breaking up with this boyfriend, leaving his house, going to move with my sister, and I was there a week, and then leaving her house. My kids was staying for a couple of days. They stayed with Roberto's mother, so they can go to school because their school was in her school district. Okay, even if I go pull the papers right now, I was using her address, but all the papers had my name on it. It didn't have his mama name on it. It didn't have his name on it. I was the one that signed all my son's papers. So it was like that I stayed at her address all those years, but I did not. I stayed by myself and my own address. So I think January of 2016, so this was strategically put in there, but I'm putting it public. January 16th, after leaving my sister's house, my son was concerned about where I was going to be. So, and I guess he talked to his granny. So, Roberto, the petitioner, called me and said, well, my mom said you can stay here until you get your apartment, because he knew I was looking for an apartment. And I was like, okay. So I went to stay at Mr. Aguilar's parents' house. I didn't sleep with Mr. Aguilar. He went out of town, I believe in February. He was out of town when I had moved to my own apartment, which I had got my apartment before I even moved in my apartment. It's just I had to wait on my apartment to be available. I moved to Arlington. So I moved to Arlington the day of March the 6th, 2016. So from January, maybe the second week in January, to March 6th, I was staying with Roberto's parents, and I paid her $150 or $300 for staying there. And then I bought groceries. So 2 months. So she asked me, where's my residence? What residence? I identify all residential addresses since January the 1st, 2016. I can list my sister address. I can list Roberto address, which that was already in my file at my kid's school. And then my address, I moved and went by myself back into my own place March 6th, 2016. So it was strategically put in there because they got it in our court order that they have it in our court, the court paperwork now that me and Roberto, me and the petitioner is married, and we are not married. And it's this thing, if you stay with a person, you come along married, but you got to say that you are married, verbally say it. You're not, me and him not coming along married. I wasn't staying with him. I was staying with his parents, paying his parents rent to stay there. Okay, while he was out of town on a vacation. Interrogatory 9, concerning evidence which could be used for impeachment or a rebuttal. Identify each person who has such information and describe that evidence. Well, interrogatory 9, concerning evidence which could be used for impeachment, is just these documents. These documents is going to be the rebuttal. Identify each person, the constitutional rights, the failure to give me due process, failure to give me a fair trial, as you tried to give the petitioner found just committed aggravated perjury. So that is the rebuttal that's going to use for the impeachment. I mean, I don't have to have a person to say that you have done this, you have done that. Like, these are documents that have not been filed with the court, been sent to me. And this is the last page, y'all. It don't have no judge signature or nothing on it. This is the last page. You see that? 7 of 7. It's supposed to be signed by the judge. It have not been signed by the judge. It have not been filed. Interrogatory 10. Describe in detail all facts and legal theories which you contend support your claims and or defenses alleged in this lawsuit. So that's the end of that. Yeah, so this, you can find this document, like I said, on my page, Shretta Clark, no hyphens, no caps, just Shretta Clark together. Once again, if you all have resources, if you all want to sow a seed, my cashapp is listed in the bottom left-hand section. I will also list the phone number because sometimes there are so many gimmicks out there, so they'll people is doing fraudulent things. So they will manipulate, try to come up with another cash app or whatever name to know that it gets to me. If you all want my telephone number that's connected to this cash app, I can give that too. So just reach out to me, email me, let me know, and spread these videos. I mean, that will help me a lot. You know, just post these videos, repost them to your page, post them to your Facebook page, post them to your Instagram page. Just get this word out there because not only is the 325 judicial court system doing this, it's been done all over the world in other states too. Attorneys, judges is doing practicing unrighteousness, gambling with the children, and we just got to stop this because we deserve it. We birthed our children. We've been hard-working parents. We need to be able to not go through this harassment, this torment, because the other parent is mad or the other parent hates the other parent. So you all be blessed.